Denver and the Mile High Orchestra with special guests Jonathan and Emily Martin, Thursday, December 14th at 6:30 p.m. at Logan Street Baptist Church in Mount Vernon. For more information, call 244-4100 or visit loganstreetbaptist.org.
Real Life Radio, 90.9 The Vine.
90.9 The Vine, in conjunction with AreaSports.net, proudly presents The Sports Couch. The Sports Couch is the area's only locally produced weekly sports show that is live on FM radio and also streamed live on both of our websites at AreaSports.net and WVYN.org. We will be on the couch this morning. Let's find out. The Sports Couch is on the air right now. Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Sports Couch here live on the radio and live streaming on both of our websites at AreaSports.net and WVYN.org. I'm Randy Olson along with Danny Anselment, and going to have some special guests in studio joining us here in just a moment, and a lot of coaches going to be on the show with us this morning too, Danny, as we had lots of basketball games last night.
Oh, man, basketball is picked up, and it's in full force now.
That's what happens when December gets here. It gets crazy, crazy busy. And those of you who are watching the live video stream with us right now on AreaSports.net, you see a couple of guys walking in the studio. I guess we're going to have to inform security that they need to do a better job on that lock down there on the door. I mean, good grief. It looks like we're going to have a broadcasters convention here this morning.
You'll let anybody in this place.
Man, oh, man. No, seriously, we are going to be joined this morning on the show for at least part of the time with Bruce Dickey and Marty David, who just took over doing Fairfield Mules basketball last night here on the Vine and on AreaSports.net. And gentlemen, welcome to the Vine and welcome to the Sports Couch.
Hey, glad to be here, Randy. Thank you so much.
Great to have you and
inviting us over.
Absolutely, and this is kind of a second-generation thing here, Marty, to have you on because your father, Stan David, was a guest with us on the Sports Couch, I know, at least 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, I know, Dad, and he really enjoyed it.
Yeah,
really enjoyed coming
always had a great time with Stan. But good to have you guys on the show this morning. And
yeah, thanks for having us.
And nice broadcast last night, too, that victory with the Mules over the Sisseton Run Lions.
Yeah, the Mules looked pretty strong last night. They had I don't know if it was the Mules looking really strong or Sisseton might have a little down this year. We'll see how that works out over the course of the year. But Fairfield's a big team, and they had a good home crowd on a Friday night, and they had a lot of fun.
Well, definitely size advantage for the Mules, isn't that right, Danny?
Oh, yeah,
big team.
He's once again loaded over there, so it'll be interesting to see how that Black Diamond Conference shakes out this season. Should be some great battles on that east side.
We've got a lot of guests to be on the show with us this morning. We're going to have Coach Doug Creel of the Mount Vernon Rams on with us in just a moment. A heartbreaking 1-point loss to Marion last night. We'll talk to Doug about that. We'll also talk to Coach Gus Gillespie from the other side, from Marion, later on in the show. We're also going to have Coach Scott McElravy on with us at about 8:45 from the Fairfield Mules. Jeremy Varner, head coach of the Hamilton County Foxes, will be on the show with us to talk a little Black Diamond Conference basketball, and we'll talk about how they've been doing down there at the tournament. Also, Russ Gerlach of the Edwards County Lions will be on the show with us, and an interesting guy we're going to have on, a little feature on grade school basketball this morning, guys. Tim Moore, who is the athletic director and head coach of Bartelso. Those guys are 14-0.
They're pretty tough.
Yeah, pretty tough.
Year in, year out.
Yeah. Well, the girls' team especially, too. This is the boys' team, right?
Yeah, this is a boys' team. But,
the girls' team at Bartelso and Germantown, that kind of area, has always loaded.
That Clinton County, they love their basketball over there.
Bet.
They really do. So I'm sure we're going to see Bartelso down at the junior high state tournament at Rend Lake College here in a few weeks. But we'll talk to Tim about his team this year and find out what makes them tick. So should be fun this morning. So, Danny, if you want to run through some of the scores from last night, I'll get Coach Creel on the phone with us, all right?
All right, from the South 7 there last night, it was Marion 45, Mount Vernon 44, Centralia Orphans. How good is this team? They defeat Carbondale last night. Carbondale's got a powerhouse also, and they defeat them 57-48. From the Midland Trail, Wayne City 77, Grayville 45. From the Little Illini, they had a couple good matchups last night. Red Hill got Lawrenceville 59-58, Robinson 70, Olney 66 in overtime.
Red Hill beat Lawrenceville also last Saturday night, right? In the Capital Classic.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
From the Greater Egyptian, Crab Orchard over Pope County 63-49. looking at the non-conference game Bruce and Marty had, Fairfield 63, Sisney 28, Weber Township 70, Ziegler-Royalton 39. Andy Fernbacher has got the Salem Wildcats.
How about Andy?
They defeat West Frankfort last night 85-40.
Good grief. They knocked off Fairfield last Saturday night as well, and that was close most of the way. But Andy, this is his third. Can you believe this is his third year now at the outside of T-Town?
Yeah, time flies, doesn't it?
And when he
really does.
When he took that position over, he told them, he said, "Guys, it'll take me 3 years, but I can turn this thing in 3 years."
Wow.
And it looks to me like he's good to his
Salem
word.
has been a sleeping giant for years and years and years.
They've got a couple of really good seniors.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's got a couple boys he can really ride, doesn't he?
Yeah.
El Dorado, a team that's going to be pretty stout in the Black Diamond. They defeat Gallatin County last night 62-39. T-Town 58, Breeze Central 53, Thompsonville 86, NCOE 83.
All right, and as Danny mentioned in the scoreboard there, last night in the South 7 Conference, it was a nail-biter between the Marion Wildcats and the Mount Vernon Rams. Second time they've played already this year. And Marion wins it last night 45-44. Joining us on the phone right now is head coach of the Rams, Doug Creel. Good morning, Doug.
Morning, guys.
Great to have you on the show. But that's a tough loss last night. I know it's never fun to talk after a nail-biter like that last night. A lot of opportunities for the Rams to win it down the stretch, but, boy, ball just didn't bounce your way down there at the end.
No, and we didn't help our cause. We're 2 bounces away from being 6-0. We've lost to Marion twice now by a total of 3 points, and I felt like we could have and maybe should have won both games. But, we got the lead back, got them to miss a free throw, didn't come up with a loose ball, and then we did a very poor job guarding them, and they let them shoot a layup. And those things are frustrating. But our kids have played hard. Randy, I appreciate you brighten up and taking care of business there before the game, and having the Hall of Famers on the floor, and Shagnon's grandson and great-grandsons out there, and the moment of silence. It was nice all but the last 9 seconds where we
Yeah, that final 9 seconds, that was tough, that baseline drive. Coaches always told me when I was playing, boy, don't give up the baseline, and unfortunately that's what happened last night, and Guy got in and scored at the end.
Frustrating thing is we went to a zone, there's supposed to be 3 guys, there's 3 guys there, and we I really can't explain why we at least didn't foul him, but hey, you're playing with young kids, and that's just frustrating when you put yourself in a position. At least foul them, at least make them go to the line, hit 2 free throws to beat you. You can't give up a layup, but hopefully we'll learn from that. It was a teachable moment. The dark side of me came out last night. I've got a side that I'm not real proud of, and it came out last night. But man, I don't like losing those. I can take getting beat. I don't like giving things away, and I don't really understand, like, with 9 seconds on the clock, why defensively you're not on high alert. But man, we weren't.
No.
We stood and watched, and I don't really get that. I don't understand that. But hey, that's where we are. And,
yeah.
And we're 4-2, and we're, like I said, 2 bounces away from being 6-0. So we haven't played bad basketball. Tough thing is things get tougher. We got to go to Carbondale, and then we got to go to Centralia, and we know how good both of those are. So we're just going to try to hang in there and see what we can do.
Well, let's talk about near the end of the game last night before Marion won it, because down the stretch there, you were down 5 points, okay? And it looked like Marion had control of the basketball game, and I think there was something like 30 seconds left. And you come down and you get a bucket to cut it to 3, and then you get a defensive stop, and you come down, and Zach Williams hits a monster three-point shot with about 19 seconds left, I think, to tie the game. And then on the ensuing possession by Marion, you get a big steal by Amir Spann. He's just a sophomore. Got to remind people he's just a sophomore. He goes down and jams it to put Mount Vernon up by 2 points, and things were looking pretty good. And then, of course, they get a free throw to cut it to 1.
Well, I thought they got bailed out on the shot.
Yeah.
But who's to say?
Yeah.
I thought they were taking a bad, tough shot and got bailed out. But the thing is, they missed one, and we got to get the rebound.
Right.
And we had 8 chances to grab the ball.
I know, that ball was loose forever on the floor, wasn't it?
And we did not. And because of that, that we gave them an opportunity to win the game, and they did. If we come up with that, I feel certain that I wouldn't have lost my mind last night, and we'd be talking about a win. But, hey, you coach long enough, you're going to have to take those. And I did not handle that very well. Like I said, my one regret is I had a teachable moment last night, and I was, you could put me out on the street in New York, and I'd have been fine.
Well, you also...
I'd have been the one that had been arrested.
Well, Coach, you also have that emotion of playing against your good friend Gus Gillespie. And anytime you're coaching against a really, really close friend, that adds a little bit more of an element to it, doesn't it?
Well, it makes it hard. I don't like coaching against him. He does a good job. And I'll tell you why. And this is for all people that gripe about this and that, don't play. The fact that Marion's being very selective down the stretch, taking good shots, is the reason 2 bounces. They've beaten us twice. If they take some bad shots, bad plays, hey, we're 2-0, we're 6-0 against them. So, everybody wants to play fast, do this. If they just leave Coach Gillespie alone, they'll be fine.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, Doug, like you said, when you got young kids, sometimes things just don't quite go how we always expect them. And the emotion and everything of opening the new gym there last night, that had to be a pretty festive evening there to come out and then have a basketball game like that on top of it. That just added to the pressure of it that much more.
Well, I think it was. It was a good night, other than, like I said, last night we let them shoot a layup. But, hey, we had a lot of nice things. We got a great basketball system. We still are young. We talk about we got everybody back. But we had 1 senior last year. We got 2 seniors this year. Majority of our kids are very young, and we still got a lot of work to do. We got to get better. Our league is tough.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the league is tough. I mean, you've got Carbondale that beat Althoff by 30 points last week, and then Carbondale loses to Centralia last night. So, how good are those 2 teams?
They're real good. I feel like they're the upper 2 teams everybody else is chasing, and then, like I said earlier, the good thing is, the positive is we get to go to Carbondale next Friday, and then we get to go to Centralia 2 Fridays. So,
Yeah, that is positive. There you go.
That's our reward for not winning the game last night.
Yeah. Well, let's remind people again about what's going on as far as selling the pieces of the floor at Shagnon Gym and the chairs and things like that. Of course, the first piece of the old Shagnon Gym floor was given away last night to the Shagnon family as part of the ceremony last night, which was great. And you had 2 Hall of Famers present that in Max Hooper and Eddie King, who played for Coach Shagnon on those back-to-back state championship teams. But if it was nice. But if members of the general public want to buy a piece of the floor, a 2-by-2-foot piece, they can do that, but they need to get their order in by December 13th, correct?
Yeah, and there's been a lot of people getting those and wanting those. And, we're selling those chair seats and pieces of the floor, and it'd just be nice to have. Whether people want to use them for an end table, frame it, put it up, or just have. I mean, there's a lot of different things that you can do with those, but it's a nice opportunity. It's going to be a sad day, but at least people can still have a piece of it.
Right, and the wooden chair seats are available in pairs. I think you get a pair of the 2 wooden chair seats for $75. You can buy a set of 3 lockers, or you can buy a 2-foot-by-2-foot piece of the floor. Correct?
Yeah, and those lockers they're the real deal. They've been down there when I was playing, so they're
I've probably used those
really
lockers.
You probably did.
I probably used those
we
lockers.
did.
I wrestled on that
absolutely.
on that floor for crying out loud.
Yeah.
They've been there for probably Max Hooper used those lockers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I suspect he
well,
did.
Well, Max said he was going to go down there and see if he could find his old locker. He thought he might try to get that.
I'm sure he will. It'll be there.
Yeah. Well, Doug, thanks so much for joining us this morning. Appreciate it.
All
Again,
right,
tough loss. But, hey, and while we get a chance, again, I want to congratulate you on the tournament victory, though, down there at Pyramid Tournament at Marion last week, going 4-1 in the tournament and winning the tiebreaker by free throw percentage. So that was a big kudos to you and a feather in your cap. So congratulations on that.
All right. Appreciate it, guys.
All right, have a good weekend.
Have a good weekend.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
All right, you too.
Head coach Doug Creel of the Mount Vernon Rams, and tough loss last night. But guys, again, it was an energy-charged event because you're announcing the naming of the gym after Coach Shagnon. You got the Shagnon family there. You got Max Hooper and Eddie King there from the Hall of Fame teams, and then he's coaching against his good friend Gus Gillespie.
Yeah.
How much more pressure can you have?
How big is that? How was the atmosphere over there last night, Randy?
It was great. It was really loud. It was packed place, and people just stood the entire time during that pregame ceremony. It was very, very emotional.
That's cool.
And the Shagnons did not know that was coming.
Really?
They knew we were bringing them out to center court, but they had no idea they were going to receive a piece of the floor last night. Oh, that's
was
pretty
cool.
Awesome. And to have Max Hooper and Eddie King, two guys that played for their grandfather, walk out there and give them a piece of the floor. And the piece of the floor that they gave him happened to have a piece of the restraining line on it. The legendary restraining line at Shagnon Gym, that was always good for a couple of turnovers against the other team.
You can always count on that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, how fitting was
sixth
that?
defender.
How fitting was that to give him a piece of the floor with a restraining line? And I loved it, man. It was great. It was awesome. But it's just too bad that the Rams didn't get it done last.
Who do you get a hold of if you're wanting to get some
athletic department? Yeah, athletic department there at Mount Vernon High School. Emily Timmons, who's the athletic secretary for Doug, and there are order forms to fill out. But they're taking orders through December 13th. I think you get 3 lockers for $75. You can get 2 wooden chair seats for $75, or you can get a 2-foot by 2-foot piece of the floor for $50.
That's man cave decorating right
It's
there.
man cave stuff. That's right. Yeah. Gene Kolak might want one of those.
Yeah, there you go.
For the man cave, right. And those orders, like I said, taking place through the 13th, and all the funds generated from that goes to the Mount Vernon Athletic Department.
That's great.
So great way, and so they'll sell all that off before they bulldoze the old Shagnon Gym. So. Hey, when we come back, we are going to visit with Coach Scott McElravy of the Fairfield Mules, talk about the win last night against the Sisney Running Lions. We'll do that when we come right back. Stay tuned.
It's the local sports talk show that everyone is talking about. It's the Sports Couch on 90.9, The Vine, and AreaSports.net.
Whether it's to grandma's or the job site, Lamont Chevrolet Chrysler has the car, truck, or van to take you there in style. Gabe Magaha, Sheldon Bunting, Jeff Black, Dennis Downs, Matthew Rogers, and Caleb Dunn are excited about their Big Finish 2017 event at Lamont Chevrolet Chrysler in Fairfield. Open 24/7 at LeMansOnline.com. You'll like the way they do business.
Is it your turn to cook again? No problem. Homemade soup and Don's famous barbecue sandwich sounds good, doesn't it? Or how about the best salad bar around? Your favorite specialty pizza, lunch buffet, or the Tuesday night buffet. All at Classic Pizza and Pasta. The mac and cheese, Italian beef, chicken bacon ranch, spinach bacon, and the buffalo chicken pizzas with a new cauliflower crust at Classic Pizza and Pasta, downtown Fairfield. Their phone number is 847-8181.
Your certified comfort expert dealer and authorized York dealer is Hayes Plumbing, Heating and Cooling. Hayes installs ultimate comfort and innovative and reliable York heating and cooling products. York products are backed with some of the best limited warranties in the business, and Hayes backs those products with some of the best service in the business. Reliable, trusted, and licensed professionals. That's Hayes Plumbing, Heating and Cooling in Fairfield, 847-3121.
Welcome back to the Sports Couch here live on a Saturday morning on 105.5 and 90.9 The Vine Radio, and also streaming live worldwide on both of our websites, live video streaming right now at AreaSports.net and live audio streaming at WVYN.org.
I'd have done my hair if I'd have realized.
Well,
that this was video.
I should have told you.
I mean, for crying out loud.
I should have told you.
I'd have set the perm up and I'd had the pompadour going.
Yeah.
It would have been really impressive.
That is Bruce Dickey. We've also got Marty David and Danny Anselment in here with me. I'm Randy Olson, and on the phone with us right now is the head coach of the Fairfield Mules, and that is Scott McElravy. Good morning, Scott.
Hey, good morning, guys. And it's great to hear that there's more red in the studio there. There's too much green there for a while.
Oh, boy, I love it.
You're right.
Yeah, add some orange in here, too, you know.
Yeah.
So, but no,
I'm
well,
starting to get tag teamed up
I
here.
like you, Danny. I'm just kidding.
well, I've got my green Michigan State on, though, because, go Sparty. How good are the Spartans this year? Man,
They're tough.
Looking great.
They're really good. They're fun to watch.
Yeah, they are really a lot of fun to watch. Well, hey, your Fairfield Mules are fun to watch, too. Congratulations on the big win last night over Sisney. You got it done, and now you're 3-2.
Hey, thanks, guys. I was pleased with our first tournament. The Capital Classic's always very, very tough. The two losses we had were to T-Town, who ended up winning the whole thing, and they beat Breeze last night, Breeze Central, so they're a good team. And then Salem is very good as well. And, we were in both those games in the second half, which is what you want. And then the kids were excited, home opener and everything. I think they were ready to go.
Well, we had Marty and Bruce on the show, or on the game last night, on the call here on the Vine and on AreaSports.net. Guys, talk about what you observed last night.
Yeah, Scott, it was a real hoot. Marty and I were talking last night during the game. It was an interesting view for us. We're able to now actually see the coaching magic at work, looking from the other side, Scott.
Well, I don't know about any magic or anything, but it was a little different to see you guys over there too. But it was good.
The kids look like you make a good point. You're deeper this year, especially with your bigs, than you've been in a while, aren't you?
We are, and like Coach Book and I and new guy Coach Foster have talked about, it's hard at times to know, getting minutes for kids. So we were glad to get a JV game in, and we got some juniors. If they're not starting varsity, we're going to give them as much time as possible, because you never know with injuries and foul trouble and that sort of thing where you're going to need different combinations. So depth is a nice thing to have.
It was a lot of fun looking at, and it's going to be fun implementing your foreign exchange student in Luca into the lineup, isn't it?
Yeah, he's a great kid, a really smart kid. Nervous right now. He's not used to playing in front of a bunch of people. He made a nice move and went to the bucket and missed the layup. And last night, I looked at Coach Book and said he never misses those in practice. So I think he's going to continually get better, as are some of our other younger kids, because we're playing some couple sophomores and some juniors that haven't had much varsity experience. So, excited for our team. Just got to keep getting better.
Well, let's talk about some of that action up there at the Lawrence County Classic, and a team that you ran into there, of course, on the final day, the Salem Wildcats. How good's that Salem team? Andy Fehrenbacher's really brought that team back since he's taken over, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's a good guy. He's always been good to help me, even when they were pounding it when he was at T-Town. So I always root for him. The Crosby kid is very, very good, and they've got a really good shooter in Linder. And correct me if I'm wrong, did they beat Frankfurt by 40?
Yes, they destroyed
45.
Yeah, I mean, they're a good team. If they were 2A, they'd definitely be a team that could win a regional and get into sectional. And we were right there with them. We were down 2 going into the half, and one of their kids hit a 3, so, I like our team. We're going to have some growing pains and this and that, and I think our conference is very good up and down the line. So there's not going to be very many gimme games in the conference this year.
Well, the conference starting up on Tuesday night, and you're heading down to Johnston City. What's the outlook for the league this year, Scott? I didn't have a chance to talk to you before the season started. Fairfield's got to be thought of as one of the top teams, aren't they?
Well, I think El Dorado deserves the top spot just for the fact that they did win it last year. They returned almost all their kids. They're big. They're very athletic. They're a fun team to watch. Albion has a great junior class that's going to be very competitive. And Carmine started off the year very, very well, too. And you can't count out any of those other teams as well. Hamco's doing pretty well down in Goreville. That's actually where I'm going right now. I'm going to watch them and JC for the day. So, BDC East, I think, is pretty good this year.
You'll be able to scout 2 teams at once there that you're going to play future opponents. That's good.
Hey, Coach, I'm sorry, go ahead. Hey, Coach, this is Marty. You talked about your depth this year, and we know you've got some bigs and you've got some length that you haven't had in years past. How do you work those combinations, you and Coach Book and now Coach Foster talking? Do you look more at the matchup on the floor with the kids you're going with, or are you still just trying to kind of feel out who works with who well for you out there?
We are, and like I tell the kids every day in practice, if you don't bring it attitude-wise and effort, that's the biggest part right there. If you're just expecting to get out there and start, or
that's a great motivator.
Minutes, that has made our practices this year very, very good, because you've got first team and second team. A lot of years when your first team's going against your JV, that's not great competition, but we've got super competition there, and we've got other younger kids that are just ready to step up and get in that gym as well. So it's a good problem to have. You got to keep everybody on the same page, and like we keep telling the kids, tonight may not be your night, but the next game may be. So you just got to keep your head in, and attitude's the biggest thing. Just keep a good attitude, being a good teammate. Hopefully, we can get some wins.
Well, Coach, talking about that depth and things like that, I was glad to hear you comment on about the practice. I know back when I played, that was one thing that we were pretty good. Our JV team was 18-0, and our varsity team was 24-5. And there was some days in practice we could get them.
You got to play on that team, Dad?
Yeah, I was there. I was there on the team that went 18-0, buddy.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah, no. But that is, in practice, you can really duplicate some things and implement some things when you got 2 stout groups like that, can't you?
I think so. And, here's the telling point. When we played T-Town earlier this year, Coach Anthony said, I lost my top 7 guys. This was my JV team for the most part last year, which they lost 2 games. There's a lot of kids there that didn't see hardly any varsity minutes as a junior. You get kids thinking, hey, I got to get 1,000 points here. I got to play as a sophomore and this and that. T-Town, you very rarely see those younger kids play, but they've taken the beatings and had those competitive practices against the varsity guys that they're ready to step up the next year, and they just fill those spots and they keep moving.
Coach Mack, did you get a chance? I know you probably got home a little late, but did you get a chance to watch the Illini last night, Northwestern game?
I'm going to, being a huge Illinois fan, I'm going to try foul on that. I forgot they played. I knew it was, for whatever reason, I thought it was tomorrow or today, and I missed it. I did see they lost in overtime. So
well, that's the thing. It was one of the. It was a lot of fun, and they played real well. Played good defense for the most part, except they couldn't score at the end, and that was what it was. It was one of the. You hate to say a John Gross style game, but it was one of those type of things, and that they couldn't score at the end. It was a little frustrating.
Yeah, I think Coach Underwood's going to turn him around. He's we're running some of his offensive stuff this year.
Yeah.
Which we like. I think a lot of schools are going to that. Fun offense to do. But I hope they get it turned around. My kids, my freshman, he doesn't really remember the good Illini days.
Yeah.
So I'd love to be able to see that here in a couple of years. I think they're turning the corner. Still have hopes for Lovie Smith in football, too.
Yeah.
I know, Bruce, Marty, big football fans.
Yeah.
So hopefully Illinois turn the corner and be a little more competitive in the 2 big sports like that.
Well, they're playing Sunday night. Now, if you're needing to follow, it's going to be against Maryland Sunday night, okay?
I did see that. I did see that. Yeah.
Hey, I root for the Illini every game except for when they play Michigan State. That's where I draw the line. That's where I draw the line.
Hey, guys, I tell you, the NCAA tournament last year, he comes in here on Saturday morning. He had 4 shirts on. And he'd talk about one, he'd take his shirt off. But he finally got down to the Michigan State shirt.
Well, you knew that's what he was going to stick with. Yeah.
Hey, that's kind of like those. We were at Busch Stadium, and we were standing there waiting to get in, and this boy had a Cardinal shirt on, and then I see him right when the gates opened. He took it off, and he had a Cub shirt on. He was running down there to get autographs, and one of my boys are like, "You can't do that, Dad. You can't be fans of both."
That's true.
That's great. Well, Scott, we appreciate you joining us this morning on the Sports Couch. Again, congratulations on the win last night over Sisney, and best of luck as you prepare for Johnson City on Tuesday night, and enjoy that scouting time down there today, okay?
Hey, thanks, guys. Have a good day.
All right,
see
you
you.
too.
See you.
Okay, bye-bye. It's Coach Scott McElravy of the Fairfield Mules, a very decisive win last night over the Sisney Running Lions. I guess they had a really big third quarter last night. Is that right, guys?
Yeah, what was it? I think a 22-point third quarter where Kobe Dagg, what do you have, Bruce? Like 13 in that third quarter. I think
He took over.
he had 20 points total in the game, but the third quarter is where he really.
They were getting it to Kobe basically at the elbow,
Yeah.
and he was cutting down the lane and heading to the hoop, and he was drawing fouls. I think he had 5 field goals and the 3 and 1s in that one. Right?
Yeah.
For his 13 points in that third quarter, and they were up 13 at half, and they went into the fourth quarter up like 30. So it was the third quarter was really decisive.
I think that size and that depth are going to wear down a lot of teams this year.
I think so, and like Coach said, it's more depth than I think he's ever had, and it's not just. Like he's got size depth and they're lengthy, and the sophomore Kane Hicksonball, I think people are going to be really surprised by him. He's got some talent.
Yeah.
Well, the biggest challenge I see, and I'm seeing this with the Hamilton County girls. He's got 9 girls he's playing in rotation down there. They're 7-0. I'm like Marty. The third quarter seems to be their quarter. With 4 minutes to go in the third quarter, it may be just kind of a ho-hum game. And then, ka-wham, that
Flip a switch, huh?
yeah, it's just like the size and the strength and the up-in-your-face defense just finally takes a toll on the other team, and it may be a 10-point game, and you look up and it may be 25.
Yeah, just that quick.
I mean, just ka-wham, just like that. But the biggest challenge these teams face with this depth is make sure you got good parents.
Well, now there's some truth to that.
I like that.
There's truth to that because
Well,
the players have got to buy into it, and the parents have got to buy into it.
I'm just going to tell you,
They really do.
Phil Lieb, we talk with Phil quite regular, and
with
I
Flora.
respect that man more than anybody. And he'll tell you, behind every great team, there's a better group of parents.
Yeah,
that right?
well, and parents don't see practices.
Right.
And they don't see what's going on in practice every day, and the only people that really do are the players and the coaches. And practice, like Coach McElravy said, that's where you earn your minutes on Tuesday and Friday nights, and parents don't see that, and they a lot of times may not get the full story or the correct story of what's going on. So yeah, that's a difficult balance.
I've seen some very good teams just be mediocre teams because of parent division.
Little interference, huh?
Yeah.
I can think back to a girls' team here a few years ago down in Hamilton County that had big aspirations, and they didn't. And it was a circus up in the stands amongst the parents. I mean, the parents hated each other.
No kidding.
Oh, yeah,
And
because of jealousy.
Well, and that's the thing, though. The kids see that too.
That's right.
And
They hear it
they
at
feed
home.
on. And
They hear it at home
It
when-
feeds them bad. It's like eating junk food as opposed to eating something that's good for you.
You know, and that's the challenge, that when you have a lot of depth, and with all this travel basketball and everything, I see people think their kids are ready for the NBA, and they really aren't good enough to even be making the starting rotation on the team they're playing on.
Well, I think back a few weeks ago, the very first interview we had preseason with Coach McElravy, and we tried to pin him down to his starting lineup. And we were talking preseason, and he said, honestly, I can't tell you. He said, this year you will probably see me run a different starting lineup maybe every game.
Yeah.
Because he said it's really going to come down to who is willing to put in the time and the effort and work hard in practice and show us what they can do in practice and, like you say, earn your playing time. And he said, depending upon the opponent and the matchups and how things go at practice, we may see a different lineup from game to game. And I think he's going to hold to that.
That's, that makes a ton of sense. And Marty's got a great point when you say that the parents don't see the practice and the fans don't see the practice. No. And so as fans, we are occasionally, we're thinking, how come little Johnny's not in there?
Yeah.
How come little Johnny could have hit that shot?
And if you can get past that hurdle, the Mules will be in the upper echelon.
Yeah.
But if they don't, they'll be mediocre.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of truth to that, and not just with this Fairfield team, but any teams with a lot of depth. Any team with a lot of depth.
Any team, Clint Weimiller's Hamilton County Lady Foxes right now, that group is playing. He's playing a 9-person rotation, and those girls are playing together about as well as any group I've seen. Matter of fact, I talked to him a little bit the other night after the game. He said, if anything, we're a little bit too unselfish.
Really?
He said, I had 3 girls, and I remember the play. He said, I had 3 girls that should have shot a layup, and finally the 4th girl, they passed it to her and let her shoot it. And had two girls standing on the low blocks like this with their hands sticking out and actually sealing off. So
I was going to say, at least they're holding the defenders off. That's pretty cool.
You know.
That's cool.
Anyway.
Yeah. Real quick, last night at the Goreville tournament, because we heard Coach Mack say he was going to head down to Goreville to watch both Johnson City and Hamilton County play today. And Jonesboro beat Goreville down there last night 73-67. Johnson City got a win over Hardin County 76-67, and the Benton Rangers held off Hamilton County.
That was close.
51-38.
That was close.
13-point game.
Yeah, that was close at halftime. They were tied up, and Benton took over in the second half. Benton, Ronnie Weinmiller's got he's got a nice program going.
Yeah, and Hamilton County, again, gave Benton a pretty good game last night, and we'll talk to Coach Jeremy Varner about that coming up next as the Sports Couch continues after these underwriting messages and station identification. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
It's the local sports talk show that everyone is talking about. It's the Sports Couch on 90.9 The Vine and AreaSports.net.
This is your home for best Christian music.
WVYN, Blueford, Wayne City, Fairfield, Mount Vernon.
And now on Translator, W288CO Centralia, broadcasting at 105.5.
A service of Real Life Radio Foundation.
The best Christian music. 90.9 The Vine.
You've heard the old saying, practice makes perfect. Well, there's actually a lot of truth to that, and you can get one-on-one instruction in baseball, softball, basketball, as well as speed and agility drills at the Sports Zone in Fairfield. The Sports Zone has been in business for quite some time now and has helped many area boy and girl athletes excel in their sport of choice. Lessons and practice times are available at convenient times that meet your schedule. The Sports Zone is located on Delaware Street in Fairfield, and we appreciate their support.
Crawford Plumbing, LLC in Woodlawn is licensed, bonded, insured, and ready to serve your household and business plumbing needs. From leaky faucets to complete plumbing systems and repair, Crawford Plumbing in Woodlawn is a full-service plumbing company. They can be reached at 618-242-3360. Crawford Plumbing in Woodlawn is a proud underwriting sponsor of Real Life Radio.
Are you going out of town for a vacation or a weekend getaway? What are you going to do with your dog? That's easy. There's Jaggers Doggy Daycare in Mount Vernon. Jaggers Doggy Daycare is your one-stop shop for overnight dog boarding, doggy daycare, as well as dog grooming and obedience dog training. It's your dog's home away from home. They will thrive, and they'll get one-on-one attention by a great staff. More information is available on the web at jaggersdoggydaycare.com. Jaggers Doggy Daycare, 414 Main Street in Mount Vernon. Welcome back to the Sports Couch here live on a Saturday morning on 105.5 and 90.9 The Vine Radio, and also streaming live worldwide on both of our websites. Live video streaming right now at AreaSports.net and live audio streaming at WVYN.org. I'm Randy Olson, live in studio with Danny Anselment, Marty David, and Bruce Dickey. We've got a studio full of sports broadcasters this morning. It's like we're having a convention or something this morning.
Yeah, buddy, a lot of big people who don't know squat in here.
All right. Well, we have been talking some Black Diamond Conference basketball this morning, and let's talk to another BDC coach, and that is the head coach of the Hamilton County Foxes. It's Jeremy Varner. And good morning, Coach. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you guys?
Great. Good to have you on the show. And, hey, you gave the Benton Rangers quite a battle last night down at that Goreville tournament. Tell us about it.
It ended up being a pretty close game, but it was ugly, that's for sure. There's plenty of turnovers by both teams and lots of free throws shot. And, we had a couple people sick this week with the flu. One of our leading scorer for our first 2 games didn't even play last night. He stayed home from school and wasn't there. So
wow.
It pressured us and we could barely get a shot off in the first half. But we defended well and kept them from scoring, and that's what ended up making it close. So.
Well, your team's had some pretty good action down there this week, Jeremy. You picked up a win earlier in the week against Hardin County. Then you had a good battle with Goreville down there the other night. And today you'll take on the Johnson City Indians in the middle game today.
Yeah, we play. I think we play them at 4:30. We have AJ this morning.
You have AJ this morning.
Yeah. So they haven't lost yet. They've beat Benton and they've beat Goreville. So they're looking in to come in and take care of business today. But the games have been pretty competitive. I feel like between us and Benton and Goreville and AJ's games are pretty competitive with those two. So, I feel like we have an opportunity to go in today with everybody there and having a few games under our belt and, seeing what can happen. I'm pretty excited for the day.
That's kind of what I was going to ask. And you mentioned it. You think you're going to be back to full strength today? You got sick bay cleared out? Everybody's back?
Yeah, everybody's back. We actually do have one more that isn't coming today. Dylan Boykin, who transferred in this year, had his first 2 nights this week. He played pretty well, and he was our first guard off the bench. And last night he actually started with Randy Schaefer being out.
Uh-huh.
And now he's sick. Got sick last night at halftime and didn't play very much. So we were down 2 of our top 6 last night.
Boy, Coach, that is so difficult whenever you've got an illness going through a team like that. It just makes it difficult on you and difficult on the players to even know where to go or who's going to be playing up next.
Yeah, and getting in a rhythm. I mean, we hadn't practiced that group of 5 together a whole lot. Usually we'll sub in a couple 3 guys and it's a different unit. So, I mean, our rhythm wasn't real nice last night at the beginning. It got a little better, but having Randy back will be good. And even earlier in the week, Matt Rubenacker, he had a game. It was against Goreville. He'd had it. He stayed home 2 days. He stayed home half of the day on Tuesday and stayed home the full day on Wednesday and then half a day on Thursday. And he didn't score on Tuesday night against Goreville at all, and he had 19 last night. So,
wow.
If we can get some guys healthy, I really think that we can get over the humps.
Well, Coach, what you need to do is you need to bottle up a few of those germs, and when you really get into that conference season, you need to pass them around.
Introduce them into these water supplies.
A few days before you're going to play some of these other teams, you need to make sure they get a little of that.
Yeah, well, if it's going like it is at our place right now, I'm sure it'll hit them at some point. But that wouldn't hurt. But I wouldn't want to. I would rather be playing other teams full strength. I think that make me feel better about myself. But, yeah, you're right. I would take the easy win if I could take it.
Coach, you mentioned Anna Jonesboro is still undefeated down there at that Goreville tournament, 3-0, and that's kind of surprising given the fact they went so deep in the football playoffs this year because a lot of those same athletes are playing basketball, and there's a big difference between being in basketball shape and football shape and getting your legs underneath you. But hey, kudos to what they're doing down there with the Wildcats because they are playing some really good basketball.
Yeah, they are. They had several guys that played on that football team, but they returned a lot. I mean, they played a lot of seniors. So they've been playing together under Coach Chambliss down there for the last 3 years. Most of them have played since their sophomore year, so I don't think it was as big of an adjustment as far as knowing what they're doing. I think what you said, being in basketball shape, is probably what they had to adjust to. But they play 9 or 10. I mean, they run them in and out, and they've got a couple real nice players. Parr is a really quality player, tough matchup. He can post you up and take you off the dribble and shoot the 3. So
he started since a freshman.
Yeah, he's a tough load, 6'2", and wide-bodied and strong and quick. So,
Coach, you've seen
it'll be tough.
Coach, you've seen plenty of those folks over the years as you've been going down to that tournament. This is a tough tournament down there, and it really helps prepare the Foxes for the conference season starting up next week, doesn't it?
Yeah, it sure does. Playing, a couple river-to-river teams and one of the best 1A teams in the South, and Johnson City's been good the last couple of years too. So, I mean, it's been hard going down there and even to compete. But, I feel like this year we've done a lot better job of being in ball games, and I think that will definitely help us start out when we're having to play Edwards County and Carmi, who's having a real good start too, and obviously Fairfield and El Dorado. Those are our first 4 conference games. Just in about 10 days, we play those guys. So
the schedule makers done you some justice too, didn't they?
Did the favors, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, they did. Our AD down here, he treats me right.
I'm sure he'll get a Christmas card from you too, right? Yeah. All right. Well, Jeremy, we appreciate you being on the show this morning, and best of luck as you prepare for your game later on today, and I'm sure we'll talk to you down the line. All right?
Yeah, sounds great. You guys have a good day.
All right,
Thanks,
you too.
Good luck.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right, thanks.
Jeremy Varner, head coach of the Hamilton County Foxes, and, yeah, that's a good tournament down there. And, I'm looking at the teams that are in that Goreville tournament, and a lot of those same teams we're going to see later on, guys, down at the El Dorado Holiday Tournament, too. A lot of those same teams will be in that tournament come Christmas
Well,
time.
Anna Jonesboro will be down there at El Dorado.
Yeah.
And Anna, at this point, with the talent that they have coming back and with that nice win over Benton earlier in the week, pretty soon the seedings, it's about a week and a half when the seedings are going to be coming out for El Dorado, and you got to figure Anna's going to be in the top 2 or 3.
I think they got to be, and most people think that was the championship game right there on the first night with AJ beating Benton in overtime, 67-65. So, yeah, I'm just amazed that AJ's playing that well this quick.
I'm like you, that quick coming from football. 10 days before that they were playing football.
Well, and that's a great point, Randy. It's a different kind of conditioning. You think, well, you've been playing late into the football season, you got to be fine to go, but it's a whole different kind of toll on your body when you're just football's got your short burst, whereas basketball it's more of the length, and you have to be in a little bit different shape. But yeah, for those boys to turn it around,
and you make
quick.
a great point too, Danny. They played Pleasant Plains 2 weeks ago today.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, they have half the team probably hasn't even been into practice. And
Oh, no.
You get a couple of days off typically after you lose your last game like that, and then you have Thanksgiving.
And it's just a different soreness to your body from going from football to basketball.
And Pleasant Plains probably made them sore.
Yeah.
You think?
Yeah.
I think they made a lot of teams sore this year. Man, oh man, how good were they?
They were tough.
Holy cow! Because we know
That
how good Anna was.
tells you how good IC was to beat up on Pleasant Plains in the second half.
Absolutely.
Up there at the DeKalb.
Yeah, it sure does. Well, when we come back, we're going to try to make connections with Coach Gus Gillespie of the Marion Wildcats. Gus told me he's going to be driving down into Kentucky, and he said there's going to be a small window of opportunity there where he's got some cell service so we can hopefully catch him, and that is at about this time. So we are going to try to catch up with Coach Gillespie coming up next here on the Sports Couch as we continue right here. We'll be right back.
It's the local sports talk show that everyone is talking about. It's the Sports Couch on 90.9 The Vine and AreaSports.net.
Being a good neighbor is about more than just being there when things go completely wrong. It's also about being there for all of life's moments when things go perfectly right. With a passion for serving customers and giving back in his community, Doug Aman has been doing well by doing good for almost 17 years. State Farm agent Doug Aman helps you protect the things you value the most with auto, home, health, and life insurance, financial services, 24/7 service, and free quotes. That's Doug Aman, State Farm, at 1101 West Delaware in Fairfield at 842-6334.
Monthly financial support of local Christian radio is provided by Home Source Warehouse in Mount Vernon. Located 4 miles north of Mount Vernon on Route 37, Home Source Warehouse offers a warehouse full of quality furniture and mattresses with legendary service. Open Thursday and Friday 10 to 6, Saturday 10 to 3. You can find them on Facebook, and their website is homesourcewarehouse.net. Their phone number is 204-5515. Home Source Warehouse, where style is affordable. For service beyond the surface, there's Carter Trucking. Carter's trucks are always ready to deliver gravel, lime, riprap, sand, mulch, and decorative rock, or haul your big freight and grain. Which Jeremy Carter do you need today? The Mucho Mulch Man, the Driveway Doctor, the Gravel Guru, the Pothole Pirate, the Rockin' Redneck, the Smooth Operator, the Mud Hole Master, or the Happy Hauler? He's at Carter Trucking on Williamson Drive in Fairfield at 842-2022.
Hey, welcome back to the Sports Couch here live on a Saturday morning on 105.5 and 90.9 The Vine Radio, and also streaming live worldwide on both of our websites. We have live video streaming right now at AreaSports.net and live audio streaming at WVYN.org. I'm Randy Olson live in studio along with Danny Anselment. Also have Marty, David, and Bruce Dickey in studio with us this morning as well. Big game last night in Mount Vernon, and what a way to kick off the South 7 Conference last night, a battle between Marion and Mount Vernon. Marion Wildcats pull out a 1-point victory, 45-44. We had Coach Creel on earlier in the show. Now we're going to talk to the other side with Coach Gus Gillespie. Good morning, Gus. How are you?
Morning. How are you doing?
Hey, great. Good to have you on the show, and congratulations on the win last night. What a nail-biter, and I know it's always difficult to coach against a good friend like Doug, because you guys go back so many years.
Yeah, you know what it is, and to do it the last two Fridays has been difficult emotionally, and just the preparation you have to do for Doug's teams, because they're going to be ready. It was a special night to be able to see the gym being named Chagnon Gymnasium again. I appreciated being able to witness that, and I saw a lot of familiar faces that I spent 4 years of my life with: Coach Rennie, Coach Pankos, Quinn McClure, just a lot of people that have impacted me, and obviously and Doug there. It's a special place, holds a lot of special memories for me.
Well, it was like a homecoming for you last night. So many people that you got to reconnect with last night from your days at Mount Vernon as an assistant, and then, of course, you spent 1 year as a head coach at Centralia. But, it was kind of a homecoming for you, and it was so neat to have that thing with the Shagnons last night being there, his grandsons and great-grandsons, and then to have Max Hooper and Eddie King there, who both played for Coach Chagnon. That was special, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's just, Mount Vernon's so rich in basketball history in Southern Illinois and throughout the state, and to be able to witness that was special to me. I told my wife last night that was, it was kind of ironic that I would be able to be a part of that, and just to witness that, and then just I knew it was going to be a tough game, and just the last two Friday nights we've been able to hold on and make a play at the end. Both teams, I think, have played very hard and put themselves in positions to win the game.
Well, and that's what you got to do, is put yourself in a position to win, and that's what both of you coaches did, you and Doug. You each had a chance to win the game, and it's just the balls went your way both of these Fridays.
Yeah, sometimes that happens. We've got to get better. We're leaving the door open on the free throw line. We have through the pyramid tournament last night. We've got to get better at the line, because most close games are going to be won at that foul line, and we've spent a lot of time on it this week, and we'll continue to, because that decides those close ones.
Well, Gus, I hate to break your bubble here this morning, but I know it was a special moment for you there last night, and you had a lot of fond memories, but you're the most hated man in Mount Vernon there is right now.
Well, I hope not. Hey, that's the thing, coaching against Mount Vernon and coaching against Coach Creel, who's a guy that not only is a guy that I learned a ton from a basketball athletic standpoint, but just school and how to go among your business at school. I've just got great respect for him and for the people there at Mount Vernon. And, it's tough, but hey, you know what? It's just a business, and I know this. At 32 minutes, after 32-minute mark, we're back to shaking hands.
Right.
Yeah. I was just joking with you, but really, you was really supposed to not let that happen. You was really supposed to get beat by one last night. You kind of ruined the festivities.
Well, every once in a while, hey, Lady Luck finds you.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Our kids are playing hard. Our kids are doing things that are new to them in a way. I think some of them are still trying to fill it out, struggling through it. But the one thing that I like about these guys is we've got a little bit of fight to us, and got a few guys that want the ball in their hands at the end of the game, and that's something you can't really coach, and they were able to convert the last two Fridays.
You know, Gus, how important is that? I'm glad you touched upon that this morning, because when you look at all the good teams around, when it gets down to crunch time, they've got a player that says, hey, give me the ball, get on, and let's get this done.
Yeah, and you know, sometimes you coach seasons, you don't have those type of guys. And I think I've got a couple guys that aren't afraid of the moment. And, you know, the game really could have taken a change there when Lacey fouled out. He does so much for us.
Right.
You know, he is so active offensively and defensively.
He's so athletic.
Yeah, and you know, he fouled out with 5 minutes to go, and he's kind of our heartbeat, I think. I think he's kind of our leader.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had some kids step up, and I thought Corey Houston, a junior, played a heck of a game. Fletcher came in off the bench, and those guys were able to you know, go in there and make a few plays, play pretty good defense, and get it done with Jaden on the bench.
I don't know what the final numbers were on rebounding last night, but I thought your team rebounded extremely well, and I would say you out-rebounded the Rams last night.
Yeah, I didn't see the numbers. That's one of the things that we've got to continue to get better at. We've got some size, but sometimes we step to the rim and ball watch and making contact and being physical. And it's been a point of emphasis since day one that, hey, we've got to be more physical rebounding the ball because, one, we're big, and number two, we're going to give up some shots in that zone, but we've got to just make it one shot.
Mm-hmm. Well, how tough is this South 7 Conference going to be this year? Welcome back to the conference, by the way.
No kidding.
I mean, last night, you know, you got Centralia beating Carbondale, and we all know that Carbondale beat Althoff by 30 last week. So good grief, how good is Centralia this year?
I know it. It's just tough, and every game on this schedule, you know, I look at the schedule and just I don't even like to look at it anymore. We've got Cahokia next Friday, who's played a heck of a schedule already, and you know, it's just a tough, and you've got to be the little things wins games. You got to make free throws, you got to take care of the ball, and you got to rebound the ball and put yourself in a position to win games late. That's something that, you know, Doug always taught me when I was his assistant, and if you can do that, sometimes, you know, you'll find yourself doing the victory lap.
Mm-hmm. Where's Marion going for a Christmas tournament this year, Coach?
Well, we'll be down at SIU and play the 26th, 27th, and 28th, and you know, we don't know who we're playing yet, but I'm sure it'll be a good tournament, and we'll have our hands full.
Okay. Any other changes to your schedule this year since you've come in, or have you had time to implement any changes yet?
Well, we picked up, I think, two very good games at Pinckneyville Shootout, and then at the Benton Shootout, where we'll play Mount Carmel, who, you know, is a really good team. And I think we're playing Breeze at Pinckneyville, which will be a heck of a game. So I feel like our schedule's a little tougher maybe this year for those two shootout games. And then the league's just, you know, like you said, it's such a grind.
Yeah, and Belleville-Altoff's looking for some more recruits. They figured out they ain't got a good enough team, so I'm sure Greg Lieb's scouring the streets trying to find him a couple more players.
Guys, I'm not going to touch that.
Yeah, that's okay. No problem. Well, I tell you what, you're getting all settled in down there at Marion, and I'm sure that they are thrilled to have you there, and I've heard nothing but good things from other people down there. And what I like about Marion is a way that your football program supports your basketball program, and your basketball program supports the football program. And, you know, you've got Coach Martin down there does a great job with the football program, and you've got some of those same athletes that you're sharing from football to basketball, such as Jaden Lacey, who's an incredible football player.
Yeah, him and Terrell and Fletcher were all impact, you know, guys on a football team that shared the title of the South 7. So, and Coach Martin's just, you know, he's a tremendous coach and installs discipline and work ethic, and those things carry over to us in the basketball. And I'm just so thankful we get to share athletes, and those guys can transition easily through from football to basketball.
I guess you're probably a UK fan since you spent so much time in Kentucky. Is that true?
No, you're wrong. I'm still a Big Ten guy.
Oh, okay.
I never switched over. I've always been a Big Ten guy, and I'm going to enjoy today watching the Big Ten championship and little SEC football. I need a day of rest. And back to work. We got Cahokia and Massac next weekend, so it never lets up this time of year.
Who you picking then, Ohio State or Wisconsin?
You know what? I just always feel like this time of year, Ohio State's going to find a way to get it done. So we'll watch. And college football is so interesting right now. Last week was crazy, and kind of looking forward to setting back and just watching those championship games today.
Speaking of the Big Ten, boy, the Big Ten got kind of beat up in that Big Ten ACC challenge in college basketball. We took it on the chin this year, but hey, Sparty looks pretty good though. My Michigan State Spartans playing well.
They look really good. I watched them the other night, and here's the thing: there's just so many this time of year. Some team that's hot in early December, they might not be the team that's playing so well in February, and that's high school ball and college basketball.
Yeah.
Everyone's trying to find their way right now, and I think some of those Big Ten teams will eventually find their way.
Randy, can you go more than like 5 minutes without talking about the Spartans?
Well, I was about to say that I about got Doug converted over to be a Sparty fan now. You got to love Tom Izzo, though. I mean, you got to like the guy, right, Gus?
Oh, yeah. Hey, I tell you what, the stuff they run offensively and just how they rebound the ball, I'm not sure there's ever a better rebounding team in the country than Michigan State. And here's the thing that me as a coach of Marion, we've got some guys with some size and some strength, but fundamentally Michigan State does it right. And, that's something that we're trying to, teach at Marion, to hit and get and don't ball watch, that kind of stuff. And hopefully it'll pay off.
Have you brought out the shoulder pads for practice yet, like Coach Izzo does?
I haven't done that yet.
All right, Gus. Yeah, all right. Well, hey, we'll let you go. I know you're on your way down to Kentucky, and we appreciate you taking time out to visit with us today on the Sports Couch. Again, congratulations on the win last night, and I'm sure we'll talk to you throughout the season. Okay, Gus?
Always great talking to you guys.
All right. Take care. Be safe. All righty. Bye-bye. Gus Gillespie, first-class guy, and I'll tell you what, the Marion Wildcats are fortunate to have him down there. I hope those folks at Marion understand that
absolutely
they got a special guy there, and I hope they don't do what they've done to some other coaches down there. And, again, Danny, gets back to your comment about parents. They've had problems down at Marion keeping coaches because of parents. And I hope that they will just leave him alone and let him do what he does, because he is a great man and a great coach.
That's the thing. Hands off on Gus Gillespie, and he'll put the team in the right direction, and he'll also raise good, fine young men too.
Oh yeah.
Well, guys, when you look around at the guys that are successful, they're great gentlemen.
That's right.
That's who you want your kids around.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes folks get lost in some of the other things that are really non-important. I'm telling you, you don't want your kid around a guy that is a bad example for him. Maybe not treat him as good as they ought to be treated. When you have one of these special guys in your program, you need to appreciate it.
You bet. And speaking of the opposite of that, Russ Gerlach's next, right?
Yeah. No, I didn't say that, Russ. That was Bruce Dickey that said that, okay? All right. Yeah, you are correct. Russ Gerlach will be next with us on the Sports Couch, head coach of the Edwards County Lions. Stay tuned. We'll be back, I think.
It's the local sports talk show that everyone is talking about. It's the Sports Couch on 90.9 The Vine and AreaSports.net.
Music and ministry on the Vine is provided by Tony Wilt State Farm Insurance Agency in Mount Vernon. Tony Wilt State Farm Insurance Agency specializes in providing your life, health, auto, and home insurance, as well as complete financial services. They are located at 4121 South Water Tower Place in Mount Vernon. Their phone number is 242-1421, and their website is TonyWilt.com. We are grateful for their underwriting support.
105.5 and 90.9 The Vine would like to thank Mount Vernon Wynn Nelson for underwriting support. With a newly remodeled showroom and over 100 years of combined service, Mount Vernon Wynn Nelson is the place for plumbing parts and supplies. They are located at 2230 Benton Road, and their hours of operation are Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. Their phone number is 618-244-3100, and you can find them on Facebook. Real Life Radio thanks Mount Vernon Wynn Nelson for underwriting support.
Underwriting on the Vine is provided by B&C Bicycle Fitness in Mount Vernon. B&C Bicycle Fitness specializes in bikes for the beginning rider to the high-end racer and can equip you with a comfortable bike to enjoy a healthy, active lifestyle with family and friends. B&C Bicycle Fitness is a full-service bicycle shop and is located at 410 South 27th Street in Mount Vernon. Their phone number is 816-4077. B&C Bicycle Fitness in Mount Vernon, where the adventure begins.
Hey, welcome back to the Sports Couch here live on a Saturday morning on 105.5 and 90.9 The Vine Radio, and also streaming live worldwide on both of our websites. We have live video streaming right now at AreaSports.net and live audio streaming at WVYN.org. I'm Randy Olson, live in studio along with Danny Anselment. And also Bruce, Dickey, and Marty David are in studio with us today, as they are now the voice of the Fairfield Mules on The Vine and on AreaSports.net. And so they're sitting in with us today. And our next guest is someone that we all know very well, and we can't wait to give him a hard time this morning. He didn't even have a game last night. I wonder what he did.
You know why he didn't have a game last night? Heck, he had to go deer hunting, man.
Well, it's probably what it was. I don't know. Let's find out. Russ Gerlach, head coach of the Edwards County Lions. Russ, how are you this morning?
Good. How are all you guys?
Hey, we're doing well. We're doing well. So how's the deer hunting going for you this year?
Oh, pretty much a waste of my time. I go out in the woods and I watch the squirrels and maybe the occasional deer.
Haven't been able to bag the big one, huh?
No, haven't been able to bag anything this year.
Oh, boy. Well, let's talk about how things are going so far with your Edwards County Lions.
Well, we played the Cumberland tournament there over Thanksgiving week. Went 1-3. Lost a couple games, or lost one game pretty close. The other two we lost. I lost a little bit in the double digits, and only beat Altamont by 1 or 2 points. Didn't really have our best week of basketball. To say, I think our turnover rate was pretty high, and when you're turning the ball over as much as we were, and it's hard to win ball games. And that was something we really focused on this week, was getting those down from in the 20s down to the low teens.
Coach, has it been pretty tough to you're trying to make up for the loss of Nathaniel Schmittler, and that is a big loss. And has it been has the team been able to converge and come together with Nathaniel not being there, 3-year starter?
I think so. I think I don't think it's really been a problem on offense replacing him, and Bobby Brake was our other starter last year as a senior. Offensively, we're just fine. We're still scoring plenty of points other than turning the ball over too much. It's on the defensive side that really I was disappointed with that first week. Just our defensive intensity, awareness, just all those little fundamental things that I kind of felt like we were better at than we really were. In practice, some of those flaws don't show up always against the JV team, but when we got to play other varsity teams, excuse me. Some of those areas that we weren't as good as I thought were definitely exposed.
Well, Coach, looking at this Black Diamond Conference, it's getting ready to kick off this week, and this Black Diamond East is going to be a battle every night, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Next week on Friday we go to Hamilton County, and been keeping up a little bit what they've been doing at Goreville. It sounds like they've been playing people pretty tough, and definitely have our work cut out for them. And the week after that, we host Fairfield on a Friday night, and I know how good. Excuse me. I know how good they are. I've got to see a little bit about them and everything. And no, there's not going to be an easy game in the conference. That's for sure.
Well, and we'll blink about twice, and we'll be to the El Dorado Holiday Tournament. And what a great tournament that's shaping up to be down there.
Yeah, it is. I've kept up with a few of the teams. I know Anna Jonesboro's having a great start to their season, and so has Harrisburg, along with all the other teams that are in our conference. I know Gallatin County's had a pretty good start to their season as well. So there's going to be tough teams. Like I said last time I was on, we've got a tough schedule from start to finish. Grayville was kind of an easy game this Tuesday, but now that we're past that, I don't think we have an easy one the rest of the way.
Well, talk about your game against Grayville and what you really liked that you saw from your team.
Well, like I was mentioning a minute ago, we really wanted to focus on improving defensively and not turn the ball over as much. We wanted to fast break as much as possible this year, and we tried it for those 4 games at Cumberland, and we just can't do it as much as we want to. I kind of wanted to force the issue and try to get some easy shots, or fouls on the other team, and unfortunately, we weren't doing it as well as we needed to. So we really tried to play a little more conservative this past week against Grayville, even though we still wanted to push it we could, and we still are fine with maybe I say taking a quick shot. That sounds like a bad thing, but I mean I don't really care how many seconds go off the clock. If we've got a shot, I want to take it, and, try to score, and we were able to do those things a lot better. And defensively, we really worked on a lot of just the basic fundamentals of staying in your stance the entire possession, jumping to the ball, and finishing with a box out. And I thought we did those things definitely a lot better.
Russ, you said you went 1-3 up there in Cumberland last week. You hate to see the demise of a tournament like Grayville had a nice tournament for so many years, but you're seeing a different set of teams up at Cumberland that you're not used to seeing, and that's really kind of got to help you down the road, doesn't it, Coach?
I agree. If we would have went there again, we would have played Grayville and Sisney, and I think they were trying to get either North Clay or Clay City in there, and with us being a 2A school, I didn't feel like playing them guys. What may have been a second or a third time, or playing 2 or 3 times a year was going to be that beneficial for us. We've got to play these better teams if we want to get better and be better when it gets to the end of February and early March. And it's definitely good for us. And kind of like I was saying earlier, not to insult those teams that would have been at Grayville, but some of those errors and some of those mistakes that we were making, we may have been good enough to overcome those, and maybe the kids don't learn much from it because we were still able to win. And hopefully we were able to learn some things by going up to Cumberland and realize some of the things that we definitely need to fix.
Well, an experience like that usually humbles your team a little bit and makes them come in and refocus and work on the things. I'm sure you were harping on them anyway, but sometimes they have to see it from somebody beside the coach because in case you don't know it, you're not always the smartest guy there is.
Well, scoreboard, yeah. So I say sometimes they think I'm smart, sometimes they don't.
I guarantee you there's more times they think you're not than you are.
I think it's kind of like kids and their parents. When you're young, you don't think your parents know anything, and then all of a sudden you realize how smart they were.
That's exactly right, Coach.
But no, I think that the scoreboard can be a heck of a teacher as well. You can sit there and say all these things in practice, and I think they listen to you, but they don't always realize how important these things are. And then you go up and you play a game against somebody that's as good as you or a little bit better than you, and those little things that you've been harping on, boy, they add up quickly on the scoreboard. And and then I think that kids realize, oh man, maybe those things are a little bit more important than we realize. So hopefully that was a learning tool for us. I think it was. I think we had a pretty good week of practice along with the game, and hopefully we can be ready to go for the next 2 weeks of games, and then, as you said, get ready for El Dorado, and then, January, February. I don't think we've got a break. I think there's one Tuesday we have off. Otherwise, we're busy the entire time.
Well, you got Max and Clive playing basketball right now, or what's going on with them?
Clive signed up for Upward, but that doesn't start quite yet. And Max has got a 7th grade tournament over at Mount Carmel. We're getting ready to head over there in a few minutes and watch that.
Wow.
Best of luck.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, hopefully we play. I know we played Mount Carmel earlier in the year, and I don't think it went so well for the 7th grade team. But we're playing 2 6th graders and 3 7th graders. They're improving quite a bit. I haven't got to see them play for a while because of the high school games. So excited to see how much the team and obviously Max as well has improved.
Yeah, he's growing up in a hurry. It's amazing.
Yeah. It's just say Facebook always has those memories, and whenever I would do the laundry and I lived at Wayne City, he'd always want to put the uniforms on. So there's a bunch of pictures of him when he's about 2 or 3 years old putting on the uniforms after we've got them washed. It's just amazing.
That's cool.
It's amazing now that those uniforms hit the floor and now they fit him.
Yeah. Doesn't take long. Well, hey, we appreciate you joining us this morning, Russ, on the Sports Couch, and enjoy that tournament today and enjoy your weekend, and we'll talk to you here down the line, all right?
All right, always fun to talk to you guys. And,
Have a great day, Russ.
Tell Bruce and Marty we'll see them 2 Fridays from now.
I'm looking forward to it.
I'll see you next Friday night.
Oh, that's right. I'll see you there at McLeansboro. Yeah, I guess I'll see you guys all over the place.
That's right. Okay, Russ, take care. See you now.
All right, thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Russ Gerlach, the head coach of the Edwards County Lions, and had a night off last night. It's not too often you get a Friday night off in December.
They had to pick it that way since the Big Ten was playing last night.
Yeah, I
so
guess.
they had to pick it so they could see the Illini play and see the Purdue play.
Yeah. But I know he was monitoring your game last night and probably monitoring a lot of the games last night. I mean, he was up to date on what was going on with those teams down at Goreville and some of the other places, because these are teams that he's going to be featuring and facing down the line. So he definitely wanted to know, what was going on. Yeah. Let's see. We were going to talk about some of those other tournaments here. I don't think that we got to on maybe the scoreboard. You can see all the scores, by the way, on our sports website at AreaSports.net. Florida Wolves got a win last night over Hillsboro at that Carlisle tournament, 50-45, and Woodlawn beat Greenville last night at that tournament, 42-40. At the DuQuoin tournament last night, Cairo over Carmi. How good's Cairo this year? I've noticed the scores with Cairo. They must be really improved. They're beating some teams up.
I'm interested to see that team play. Like Bruce was saying, they went to Charleston, Missouri last weekend and done really well over there.
They dominated some teams that you really didn't expect them to beat the heck out of, and they sure did.
They are 3-0 at that DuQuoin tournament.
Yeah.
Cairo is 3-0. So must be playing some great basketball this year.
You talk about that Carlisle tournament. I was looking there. That tournament is pretty even matched right there. You look at the scores from that game, about every game's been very competitive there.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad to see Cairo's playing well, too, because I drove through. I hadn't been in Cairo for years, and I drove through Cairo this summer.
Yeah.
And, Marty was with us, and it was just that poor town needs a boost. That is for sure.
Pretty devastating.
And a basketball team like that can really pick up a whole town.
Yeah, you're right. The Mascoutah tournament, Wayne Hari and his Nashville Hornets. Wayne got his second win since taking over the boys program there at Nashville, as they got a win last night over Mascoutah, and he's 2-2 now.
His winning percentage is kind of taking a hit right now. That 82% winning percentage, he's just at 50. He's just at 50-50.
He's a 50-50 guy right now. Yeah, we'll have to get him back on the show.
That was kind of a surprise that he took over the boys, wasn't it?
It was a little bit of a surprise to us. We had him on the show a couple of weeks ago and asked him about that. He said that was really a long, painful, gut-wrenching decision as to whether or not to do that, because they'd been after him and asked him that before, and he'd always said no. And
he only coached the girls for 15, 20, 25 years?
About 20 years.
But he'd stepped away from that. He'd stepped away from the girls program to follow his daughter's college career and stuff. And Nashville had an opening, and they went to him. And from what he told us,
that's loyalty.
It was a pretty, a lot of. He said, just to get back into it and get back to the grind and the commitment and all those kind of things. He said it was kind of a tough decision, but now that he accepted it, he was looking forward to the challenge.
I'll bet.
But the challenge, too, is that it's a different style of basketball, because the athletes are much faster, stronger, quicker, jump higher, all that sort of thing compared to coaching girls. And so he said that's going to be a bit of a transition, in coaching boys versus coaching girls. But if anybody can do it, I think Wayne Hari can do it.
I would think he would have the ability.
Yeah, definitely so. Well, coming up, guys, we're going to be talking to Coach Tim Moore of Bartelso Grade School. His team, I believe, is 14-0 on the season, and really racking up a lot of wins, making some noise over there in Clinton County.
We're going to have to get out of here.
Are you going to have to exit stage left?
We've got it. He's got it. Marty has a real job. Marty's got to go do his real job.
Okay.
But we appreciate you inviting us on here.
Absolutely. Glad you guys can make it.
You going to say something, by the way, or am I going to talk
I'm
for you?
I'm thrilled that we're back doing the mules. I'm thrilled we're on the Vine now, and it's just I'm looking forward to the great season. Like we said, we talked to a lot of coaches this morning. There's so many good teams out there. We got good tournaments coming up. Just really looking forward to the season. And thanks to Randy and thanks to the Vine and everybody for bringing us on board.
Yep.
Well, it was kind of cool. I was sitting there last night at the scores table at Mount Vernon doing the thing, with the Rams emceeing that and doing the PA, but yet I had my smartphone there and I had my earbuds in, and I could monitor you guys and listen to a little bit of your broadcast while I was sitting there, and it was coming in crystal clear on my smartphone because the app works really well.
I had several people comment, Randy, how great the app works. So that's great.
So it's a nice feature to be able to take the ball games with you anywhere you go.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Well, and it's a thing that we haven't talked about yet. And but when we get to the El Dorado Holiday Tournament, surely we'll be able to work out, since we're all on the same team now, we're going to work out some games where...
Well, that's the thing. Marty isn't going to be there. Marty's on vacation.
I'm going to have to miss the tournament. Yeah.
Oh, Marty.
So, yeah, basically I'll be bugging you people.
Well, we're going to be down there, and me and you can set in, and we'll even have a chance to have Fairfield Mules live on video.
That's cool.
So we can rotate around and do multiple games.
Yeah,
right. Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
Well, it'll be a great tournament. Great atmosphere, great hospitality. They treat us very well down there. Always have a lot of fun, And
a really neat gym. I love that gymnasium.
The atmosphere is unbelievable. A few years ago, I lost a bet to Greg Goodley, and I had to wear an El Dorado Eagle jersey.
Should have never made that bet.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. You shouldn't even have that as a possibility.
We were sitting up there talking, and somebody said something about, "Oh, you'd look good in El Dorado jersey." And I said, "Well, I used to wear purple as a Dahlgren Bulldog." I said, "Yeah, I don't look too bad in purple." But I said, "Nobody has a shirt." Within 4 minutes,
no,
they had a shirt. The football coach that left, I can't think of his name right now off the top of my head. Here he come racing across
Hampton.
Racing across the gym floor, and he had an El Dorado Eagle jersey.
They fixed you up, didn't they?
Yeah, they took care of me. We have a lot of fun down there.
Oh, boy, that's hilarious. Well, again, with Fairfield down there, El Dorado down there, Hamilton County, Edwards County down there, all
Just
these
talk to
local
Russ,
teams.
Edwards,
absolutely. So, we can
the
be
Harrisburg Bulldogs
covering a lot of those teams down there. So,
I'm pretty committed to that tournament. I don't get the breakfast special unless somebody that we're following plays it, or that red eye special.
That's the fun down there.
I'm getting too old for that.
You get that 8:30 game. That's when there's only like 40 people in the gymnasium.
That's right.
And that's when the officials can hear the.
They can
fans.
actually hear.
It's
well, and the officials can hear the broadcast.
That's exactly right.
There was a lady sitting in front of me 2 years ago, and she didn't get to see the second half for that reason.
I bet.
There.
Yeah, I know the feeling. I've seen it.
Oh, that's great. Well, guys, thanks for coming in. We appreciate you being here, and stay tuned. We'll be back with Coach Tim Moore of Bartelso as the Sports Couch continues.
It's the local sports talk show that everyone is talking about. It's the Sports Couch on 90.9 The Vine and AreaSports.net.
Most of us tend to take our printed materials for granted, but it's hard to imagine life today without print. Printing is communicating. Whether it's promotional, operational, or administrative, we're here to meet your printing needs. Peacock Print and Marketing has been serving the people in Southern Illinois since 1977. We're located at 1112 Jordan Street in Mount Vernon. Our phone number is 242-3157. Our website is peacockprinting.com. We believe in honoring God by serving our clients through print and marketing and helping them reach their full potential.
Choosing a construction company is a big decision because many companies come and go. That's why Greenwald & Sons Construction is a name you can trust. With over 40 years of experience, Greenwald & Sons Construction in Wayne City and Mount Vernon specialize in residential and commercial construction, as well as remodeling. They'll be happy to talk to you about a church addition, business expansion, or new home construction. Greenwald & Sons Construction, the experts you can depend upon. Their number is 895-2044.
Real Life Radio thanks Fairfield Printing and Graphics for their partnership in local Christian radio ministry. Fairfield Printing and Graphics offers custom sizing for banners and signs, as well as yard signs, corrugated signs, and metal signs. Fairfield Printing and Graphics also specializes in custom t-shirts, business cards, wedding invitations, hats, bags, and much more. They are located at number 5 Williamson Drive in Fairfield, and their phone number is 842-4048.
Hey, welcome back to the Sports Couch, here live on a Saturday morning on 105.5 and 90.9 The Vine Radio, and also streaming live worldwide on both of our websites. Live video streaming right now at AreaSports.net and live audio streaming at WVYN.org. I'm Randy Olson, live in studio, along with Danny Anselment, and one more guest on the show with us this morning. It's a grade school basketball coach from Bartelso, And that's Tim Moore. His team is 13-0 on the season, Danny. Man, they are making some noise, and I think we're probably going to end up seeing them down at that junior high state tournament at Rend Lake College. Pretty good chance of that.
They always seem like they're there.
I'll tell you, teams from that county over there in Clinton County, they like to make some noise. Tim's on the phone with us now. Good morning, Tim. How are you?
Good morning to you. I'm doing well, thank you.
Well, great. Good to have you on the show, and let's talk about your Bartelso Ball Club. 13-0 on the season, perfect record thus far, and you're winning games by a pretty large margin. Sounds like you had a special group of boys on that team this year.
Yeah, I really do. This is a really good group of kids. Our team is actually made up of 8 eighth graders and 5 seventh graders, and to be honest, in most games we generally just play 6 guys, and these are 6 kids that have been playing together for quite a while. They complement each other really well. And good team chemistry, and they can get a lot done on the court. I've been coaching for 28 years. I've coached high school girls teams, boys teams, and you're always blessed as a coach to have one, really good player, and very rarely do you have 2 or 3. I have 6.
Yeah.
And, so it's been a fun ride so far, but we have a long way to go.
Yeah, at that junior high level, too, I mean, most coaches will tell you if you've got 2 good players, you can maybe ride them and take a team down to state. But, man, when you got 5 or 6 guys that can play the game well and they're interchangeable parts, you can really make some noise and do some damage, and that's exactly what you're doing.
Yeah, it's going well so far, but we know we have a tough road to go. We're a part of a very good conference, the Clinton County Conference. There's some strong teams here. Aveston's very good this year. All Saints, Albers has a nice team, and so we've been able to get through those teams among others so far. But we've got a tough road ahead, so we're just still trying to get better and just take things one game at a time.
Yeah, I'm going through some of the scores that you've passed along to us that we have here posted on AreaSports.net. I mean, you beat Germantown by 48 points. You've taken care of Aveston by 16 points. You beat Breeze by, I think, 21, something like that. You beat Albers. I mean, you're just knocking off everybody over there and win them by large margins. All Saints. And so when it comes regional time, who's going to probably be in that regional with you, Tim? Who you're going to have to face and beat?
Well, it looks like our toughest opponent in the regional is probably going to be Albers Damiansville. We played them earlier in the year and I believe beat them by 24, but it was just one of those games you felt like it was a lot closer. And they've got 2 or 3 really nice players, so they can be, they're a dangerous team. But, we feel like we have a shot to maybe do something special this year. But then again, as you know, it's in sports. You just never know. Obviously, when you watch the NCAA tournament every year, the top seed and the best teams don't always win. So like I said, we're taking this thing one game at a time, and when it gets to that point, hopefully we'll be able to get it done.
Mm-hmm. Well, for those people who are watching our live video stream right now on AreaSports.net, we've got a team picture of Bartelso up on the screen right now, and it looks to me like you've got some size on that team as well this year, Tim.
Yeah, we're not real big, but we've got 3, 4 kids between 5'7" and 5'10", so it's such an athletic bunch. Our style of play is, we run. We fast break off of everything. We press, and we try to get in an up-tempo game. These kids are very athletic and can run the court, and we have so many strengths. But you mentioned some of the scores. Probably our 2 biggest strengths, our ability to score, and we just do a phenomenal job taking care of the ball. I'm just still kind of one of those old school guys that really stresses taking care of the ball. We average just 5 turnovers a game, which really is pretty remarkable for the style of play.
Wow.
That we do. But we have 3 kids that average in double figures in scoring, almost 4, and we average about 68 points a game. So I don't know if that trend can continue, but so far we're doing some pretty good things on the court.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, Coach, you know what a strength that is for three players to score in double figures. It's pretty hard for these defensive teams to try to shut you down because there's just no one person they can key on.
You know, that's exactly right. And even the three that play a lot that don't average in double figures, those three are more than capable of putting up, you know, double digits in points on any given night. So, I mean, you're exactly right. When we have, you know, one or two kids that are maybe a little off, and we've got a few others that can, you know, that can pick it up. So, yeah, it's, you know, it's a special group. These are kids that have, you know, you kind of hear the old cliche, kids that have been together for a long time, and, you know, they just know each other really well. They can almost predict what each other's going to do on the court. And, you know, we still have some weaknesses like everybody does that we need to continue to improve on, and hopefully we can just keep getting better.
Well, you mentioned ball handling skills. You said you had good ball handlers this year, and, you know, that's a special commodity at the grade school level because there's so many kids who can only go with one hand. You know, if they're right-handed, they can't go to their left, can't use that left hand. I'm guessing that with the team you've got this year and the fact that you've been doing this for 28 years, you've got some guys that can go both ways and can handle that ball, it sounds like.
Yeah, they really do. We have, you know, obviously, you know, our guards handle the ball a little more than our forwards, but all the kids can handle the ball. I mean, you're right. They can go right, they can go left, and, you know, they're just such good decision makers. And as you know, in any sport, you know, that's vital. But yeah, I mean, we're you know, we're a team that's, you know, pretty tough to guard sometimes, but that, you know, it doesn't mean that you know, we can't be shut down. I mean, we've played some good teams and have had some, you know, a few close games, and, you know, we've got you know, a lot of tough opponents coming up. We go to Woodlawn next week, and then we've got our conference tournament after that. So there's a good chance we'll, you know, maybe see an All Saints and an Aviston again, and those two teams are very, very good. I think Aviston's only lost a couple games this year, and All Saints, I think they've just lost one game. So there's some really good teams in this area, so we still have our work cut out for us.
Yeah, I was about to ask you who you had on the schedule, but you just told us. So, yeah, you do have some big games coming up ahead. When regional's going to be starting here pretty quick. January we get into the regionals, so you don't have too many more games left, just December, and then you're into it. It's a quick season at junior high level, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going really fast. Really, right now we're at the halfway point of our regular season. We've got 13 regular season games left. And then you get, like you say, you get into regional and hopefully go from there. So, yeah, it goes it goes pretty quickly.
Now, the kids at Bartelso, which high school will they feed into, or is there more than one high school they can feed into from there?
There are two high schools they can feed into. There's Breeze Mater Dei High School, and then there's Breeze Central.
Right.
So, and as you know, those two schools have a you know, fantastic reputation academically and athletically as well. I mean, it's you know, both very good. So it's usually, I think, one of those situations. It's usually about half and half. It just kind of varies from year to year.
Yeah. Well, Coach, we appreciate your time this morning on the Sports Couch. It's interesting to learn more about your Bartelso club and how they're getting along this year. I hope to be able to see them play, and I think there's a good chance we'll get to see them play perhaps down at that state tournament at Rend Lake College. We hope that you're able to reach that point and wish you best of luck the rest of the way.
I really appreciate that. I hope you're right, and like I said, I thank you very much for having me on today.
Okay, you bet. Have a great weekend, Tim.
You too.
Thanks. Bye-bye. Tim Moore, head coach of Bartelso. He's actually been coaching for 28 years, Danny. So he's no rookie.
Man, that's a long career.
It's a long time, and sounds like you got a special group this year. You know, when you've got a grade school team that is 6 players deep like that I mean, a really solid 6 players, and guys who can handle the ball with both hands, you know, can go either direction, left or right, and you got a little bit of size to go with it, and they're coachable,
right?
Which it sounds like they are. It's no wonder they're 13-0.
Right, it'd be a tough combination. You know, most teams do not have 3 guys capable of scoring in double figures for them at the grade school level.
No.
And That's just a tough combination to beat. It sounds like he's got a well-rounded team.
Yeah, most grade school teams have one, maybe two guys that are the go-to guys that are the scorers. And if you shut down that one and a half players, you're usually able to compete with them. But to have three go-to guys that can score in double figures night in and night out, that's pretty tough.
Well, most teams just don't have the matchup power to match up against them.
No, they don't. They don't. And what's amazing is that Bartels is not really a big school either.
Oh, no.
You know, it's not big at all. So. Well, hey, we are just about out of time. Anything else you want to add this morning, Danny?
Well, be interesting to see. The Cardinals have met with.
Yes, they met yesterday with the Stanton bunch.
Looks like it could be down to maybe between them and the Giants.
Yeah, the Giants have made a pretty big offer, pretty big thing, and it sounds like Stanton is leaning towards, having an ocean view, shall we say, or a coastal view. But it's been interesting to hear Matt Holliday make a sales pitch for the Cardinals. I mean, he's been trying to influence Stanton to come to St. Louis because it is such a great baseball city, and we are competitive every year. And if
that says what kind of guy he is.
It does, because here he's left the Cardinals organization. He's with the Yankees now, but yet he's pitching St. Louis to Stanton.
Just for the fact that he got to experience it, and he would have loved to finish as a Cardinal.
Oh yeah. It just didn't work out that way. Some very big football games today, of course. You got number 1 Clemson against number 7 Miami. You got number 2 Auburn against number 6 Georgia. And then, of course, you got the Big Ten championship game, Ohio State and Wisconsin. That playoff situation is still a little bit muddy, but maybe it'll be a lot more clear after today.
Be some great football games today.
And Alabama's sitting there thinking, okay, I need somebody to lose. Because right now they're on the outside looking in despite the fact they have just one loss. But that one loss came at a critical time to Auburn, so we'll just see how it all plays out. Hey, we'll be back next Saturday morning at 8:30 for another edition of the Sports Couch. It is 90 minutes of great local sports talk. Hope that you will join us as well. We'll talk to you then, and have yourself a safe weekend. Take care, everybody. So long.
This is your home for best Christian music.
WVYN, Blueford, Wayne City, Fairfield, Mount Vernon.
And now on Translator, W288CO Centralia, broadcasting